What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It has been a while since we've been together. As you know, you saw my video about leaving Microsoft. Well, I now have taken some time off. I've joined DocuSign. I've settled in for a few weeks, and so I'm back with some new content. And as always, I invite somebody to come on with me to show their stuff, to teach us what's what, because most of the time, you guys know way better than I do. So today, as always, my man Yash is here with us. How you doing, Yash?
Hey John, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. The weather is turning sunny here in Seattle. The new job has been a fire hose of information and awesome. And getting to do some more Power Automate content is exciting. Just it's different, it's weird. I almost feel nervous, like I haven't done it for a while, like it's this new thing or something. It feels good though. It feels good. What's new in your life, buddy?
All good. I'm just been trying DocuSign and Power Automate and a little bit of new experiments to integrate with other items so that I can expand a little bit on my knowledge as well of how we can integrate Power Platform with other tools. So it's been exciting.
Awesome. Okay. We previously did a video about DocuSign together, which is pretty awesome. A lot of people made comments, like, "Oh my gosh, you did that DocuSign video. Now you're at DocuSign," and it was a bit of a premonition, I guess. And so we're back to expand on that today. Obviously, now that I'm over there, I want to keep bringing that into the goodness we're doing. And so Yash is going to show us how to take that DocuSign experience to the next level using Power Automate. So, Yash, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, say a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you're from, and all that goodness, and then we'll jump in.
Awesome. So I have a quick few slides to share.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and pull those up.
All right. So here today we're going to talk about efficient contract management and automation using DocuSign and Power Automate. But before we get into that, a little bit about myself. So I'm Yash Agarwal, and I'm a Microsoft MVP and MCT for business applications from India. I'm also a super user on the Power Automate and the Power Apps community forum. So if you have any questions, please feel free to track me over there, or you can also reach out to me via LinkedIn, Twitter, or my blog from the links in the QR code on the screen. And then in today's session, as I was saying, we'll be talking about efficient document management or contract management using DocuSign and Power Automate. So I would just like to talk about what we did previously in the previous video, where we were doing we were creating a flow using the inbuilt or the already available DocuSign actions from the DocuSign connector. But this time we're going to step it up a little bit and see how we can further leverage the template capability of Power Automate, where we are filling Word templates and then we are storing the file on SharePoint, how we can automate a proper contract management for a external contractor who's onboarding the team, and a lot of things. I mean, it can be expanded to different applications. And yeah. So coming back to the other screen over here, first I'll quickly show a small setup that I have over here. So this Word template that I created, which is for a contract template. And this contract is basically going to mention the terms of employment for a new person. It could be an external employee, it could be a temporary contractor, it could be anything. So we just have some basic text over here. And then there's a date field. So this is a template I've created. So you could put the placeholders using the developer tab. And you can add the plain text control. I have already done that because we'll directly upload this into SharePoint then. And I mentioned a little bit about the company and then details about the contractor, because we want to keep these fields dynamic. I've just put placeholders over here. And then there are two more placeholders over here. So I'm just putting the amount over here. So XYZ USD per XYZ time frame. It could be hourly pay, it could be a daily pay, weekly, monthly, whatever. It depends upon the hiring pattern of the company. And then I've just put some random text over here. And then finally, we also have three placeholders over here. One is name, again, the person who's acknowledging or signing this, place from where they're signing, and then sign here tab so that they can sign it finally. So I have uploaded this to my SharePoint document library over here. I have a SharePoint setup created already. And
nice.
Over here.
So this uses the Word connector because there's that template there, and then SharePoint, and then Okay, cool. So I like that so far. I like how we're bringing in the word template thing.
So here I have the contract template over here. So in the contract template, it's just the same Word template that I uploaded. And then I have another list set up over here, which is the contracts list, where I'm storing all the details about individual users or individual resources who have been hired into the company. It could be external contractors, or maybe I just wanted to get someone for filling up a gap for 3 to 4 months as a support role or anything. It could be anything basically. So I have some metadata over here. In the title, I'm going to save the name of the person. In the contractor email, I can store their email address. In the type, it's a choice column that defines what kind of pay structure we have. Is it going to be an hourly pay, or it is going to be a daily, or whatever time stamp is there? So it's going to show that. It's taking a second to load. So this is the choice column we have. And then I have a contractor pay, then a start date and end date of when it starts, when it ends, a simple status column to say that, okay, this contractor has been approved by the management, or whoever the approving authority is. And I already have of envelope ID column over here, which is going to store the ID of the envelope that we're going to send from DocuSign later on. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to first show you how the DocuSign thing is going to be integrated with this before we actually create a record and start creating our flow.
Okay.
So on DocuSign, what you can do is you can set up a developer account. So once you set up your developer account, you have the My Apps and Keys page that you can go to. So there is some IDs and confidential information over here, which I'll be disabling this account later on after the video, but it's important to note these as well. So I have an API username, an account ID, and an account URI that gets created the moment I create this developer account. And then I can create an integration key, which is most important while we want to use the API of DocuSign to perform some actions. And once I have this, I can also see the API dashboard, where I can see how many applications are using what keys, and how many requests have been made, how many of them failed, and so on. So there's a lot of analytics also that you can view over here based upon how and what is being used on the API actually. So once I have this, then I am going to show you the envelope structure over here. So you can create an envelope using the DocuSign API, and you can directly Google create DocuSign envelope using API, and you'll be navigated to this page. So here what we have is, we have to construct a URL. So this is the URL that we're going to send a post request to. And then there's already a sample over here. So if I click on the examples here, there are different types. So I'm going to select the first one, where I want to get a signature on a email on a single document. So I can see a sample request that is there. So we're just going to use this sample request and construct it in our flow. So let's get started on the flow now.
Cool. I'm going to do a quick shout out to my team for building this awesome dev center with all these great code samples. They take great pride in the amount of documentation and samples they have out there, and as they should. It is an amazing resource. They do a really great job, I think, of breaking it all down.
Yes, totally. I mean, it's just going to be this. We're going to copy over this and change some placeholders. That's all. So it's all there already available, and you can directly use it.
It's awesome.
And here we are on flow. So I'm just going to skip this part and start creating a flow. For the sake of this example, let's just create a flow when an item is created in our list. And we can change this based upon our setup of how we are actually putting the data of the potential contractors to hire on SharePoint. You could use a Power Apps app where there's a form and a team can request, okay, I want this contractor, I have interviewed them, these are the details, these are the rates. So now it's up to HR to approve them or reject them. And based upon the status approval, you can trigger the flow. So there's a lot of scope of applications over there, but we're just going to do a simple one now. So I have this MPP project 2020 site where I have my contracts list. And every time an item is created over here, what I want to do is I want to first populate a word template. So I'm going to search for that and populate a word template.
Oh, it's got a new icon.
Yes. So again, it's on my contracts document library folder. So from documents, I'm going to navigate to the word template. And once I select the template, it's going to show me all the placeholders that are available to fill. So we can put the date over here. So date is going to be today's date when we are sending this out. So I'm going to use the expression. Okay, and format it appropriately. So let's say date and then month and year. So this is going to put the month in a short expanded form and format it directly.
Is that 3 M's you got there, Yash?
Yes. So
Okay.
3 M's is going to be like the first 3 letters of the month. So if it is January, then JAN, like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learned something new.
In the name, we are going to put the title because that's the name. And this name too is basically this placeholder that we have at the end. So I've put tags on each of the placeholders on the template, and that is what is showing over here. And paper is going to be the value on the choice column, so the contractor type value. And in the contractor email, I'm just going to put this. On the contractor name, again, title. Contractor rates is contractor pay. And place, we don't have a column over here, so I'm just going to put, let's say, test place here. But we can get that again from SharePoint. And on the template, I have not put the start date and end date placeholder, so we can do that also. So it's just putting the data on the placeholders and filling up the template. And once this is done, after populating the Word template, we also want to save this file and then create a PDF out of it. So on my new step, I'm going to create a new file. And again, navigate to the same folder.
So that's the SharePoint connector, if you're curious, to create that action, to create that file.
Mhm. And on the name now, I want to provide a unique ID. So what I can do is I'll put the item ID. So that's going to be unique every time. And let's put the timestamp. So I'll put UTC now again, and in the bracket HH, which is hour, and small m is minute and second. So we have that. And finally, the extension, which is docx, document type. And on the file content, we're going to just put the Word template content over here. So now that we have this, we want to convert this to a PDF properly. So I'm going to search for convert to PDF action. And we should be able to see it here. Now this action, which is convert Word document to PDF, is actually, it does not accept a dynamic value when we provide for the file. So there's a hack for it.
Ooh.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to browse through the folder and go to contracts, select this, copy over the entire thing, and in my notepad, I'm going to paste this, remove the name of the file from here, and copy over just the folder name. And after the slash, you can put the name of the file. So now it detects it properly and it will get you. So this is so far just creating the PDF and populating the Word template and creating the PDF. Now we also want to do the DocuSign action. So for the DocuSign action, we'll first have to create an authentication header. And to do that, I'm going to use a compose action. And in the inputs, let's just put as threads. In the settings, I'm going to go to the settings actually, and in the track properties, I'll put username. Okay, let's use camel case. And for now, I'm putting my email over here. And we also have to put the password.
Okay.
So this is my test password. Oh, it was not this, it was this. And then I'm going to put the integrator key. which is going to be coming from my DocuSign over here. This is the integration key. So copy that over and paste it here. And done. So now I'm having access to all those items. So I'm going to start configuring the HTTP action. In this HTTP action, we have to do a post request. We'll construct the URI, but let's first put the header in place. So again, coming back to my notepad. So this is one header that we need, which is x-DocuSign-authentication. So I'm going to paste that. And for the value, we have to provide this in JSON format. So the entire string. And now what we have to do is, like, I have the username over here hard coded. So I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to write an expression, which is action, name of the action. And the name of the action is compose. And question mark, square bracket, track properties. And another question mark and username.
Okay. Okay. I
Copy
love it,
over
Yash. It's a lesson in some JSON formatting as well here.
Yeah. And for the password, again, we'll do the same thing. And finally, for the integrator key,
Nice.
there we go.
Nice.
Yep. And then there's another header we have to put, which is content-type, and that is application/JSON. Okay, so now an interesting part about the URI is the account that I'm using is a test account. So it's a developer demo account. So if I go back to the app and keys over here, I'll see that I have a base URI, which is demo.docusign.net. And when you're using it in production, this may be different. So it is important to note the base URI from here itself. So I'm going to copy over this and paste it here. And then I'm going to come back to my API reference for the envelopes. And here you see this is the HTTP request. So after the base URI, we have to put all of this. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here again. Okay, in the place of the account ID. Yep. Again, I'm going to come back to my API reference, and this is the API account ID. So I'm going to just copy that over and paste it. So again, we can put this also as a part of the compose action and get it over here. So then it's just for security purpose, so that your user ID, password, and keys are not visible to people who are having access as run-only users and all that. So you can configure this as required.
Nice.
Now comes the important part, which is the body. So again, back to our envelope reference, and just going to copy over the entire thing from here and paste it. Now, as you can see, I have a documents key array where I can add multiple documents. So I'm going to first remove this part, and from the expressions, we are just going to first use the PDF document directly, and then select it, copy it, paste it back into the expression, because it gives you a content stream or a content type, and then the actual content. We just have to pass the base 64. So question mark, square brackets, and dollar content here. And okay, so this is this. The name is nda.pdf, to which I'm going to rename as contract.pdf. And there's this subject we have, please sign the NDA. On the email, I'm going to remove this and get the email address from my SharePoint. So search for contractor email, and in the name, I'm going to search for contractor name, which was the title. All right, so that is pretty much it. There are other items over here that we can keep changing based upon requirement. So these are all optional items, and I'm just going to keep it default for our example right now. And close this action, save the flow.
All right. All right.
And now let's test it by first creating the item. So I'm just going to click on test and manually, and I'm going to create an item now. So fingers crossed that this works.
Here we go.
I'm going to create a new record here. And again, the data over here can come from apps, Canvas apps, or you can also create some forms for this.
Yeah, I mean, if we're at this level, right, making HTTP calls, it's very likely that we could have a form on your website that takes the data over. We have an entry in Microsoft Forms or Customer Voice or Form Stack or whatever your Google Sheets, any source of info that you have, you can connect to this and pass that information across. So SharePoint is the medium that we're choosing because it's easy, it's familiar, a lot of people use it, it's cheap if you don't have it and you want to use it, but you have so many possibilities on how to get this data into this flow. And so just keep that in mind, that as we're using SharePoint, that doesn't mean you have to use SharePoint. It could be any data source.
Correct. And before we move forward, there's one step we missed, which is updating the item to pass on the envelope ID. So I'm going
Okay.
to come back here and ditch that run, edit the flow again. So the HTTP action again is going to return us with a response that contains the envelope ID. So I'm going
Okay.
to search for the update item action. And the same site. Okay. On the envelope ID, so let's check how it returns the response. It's capital I. I'll just copy over this. And here I'm going to see more. Look for body. Copy this, put it in the expression. And question mark, square brackets, envelope ID. Okay. And save the flow now.
So notice that he passed the title field in. It's a required field there, and so it'll break if you don't pass it in each time. Even though you've given it the name, just keep in mind you'll have to give it again to do this update because it's a required field. Otherwise, the flow will choke on that.
Yep. And now we'll test it. So force the trigger. And so I have filled these details over here, and I'm going to hit save.
All right.
Okay.
The list with our fancy formatting, nice colors in the columns. Flow is running.
So, okay,
Yes.
so far so good.
So far, so good.
Okay, so it ran successfully.
Oh, you know what? Yash, there's not as many good feelings in life, I think, as when a flow runs successfully, right? When you're like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Yes!
Totally.
Yeah.
And it has updated the item also. Now let's see the envelope. So I have emailed it to myself.
Okay.
I'm going to open up. Okay. So let's open it up here only. I have a copyright on all the 1651 email addresses. Everything is booked by me. Okay.
I thought you said it sent it to an on Microsoft account email.
From and on Microsoft to Outlook.com.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So here it was.
There
This
it is.
one.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. My bad.
So I have this, and now I can start reviewing the document.
Look at that. Oh, this is so exciting.
Okay, so I allow this.
Yep.
And agree.
Yep.
Continue. So you will see that, okay, this is demo document because of the account that I'm using right now.
Yeah, but there's the date. Yep.
Yes. We have the name and the email address. We put the amount and the hourly payment, how we want to do it.
Yeah.
And finally, the test space and sign here. Now I can select the signature from here. I can just drop it here and select my sign. There you go. Finish.
Boom.
And if I want to copy, I can get that, but fine, no thanks.
You should always keep a copy. Just as a new DocuSign evangelist, my advice to you would be always go ahead and sign in there and keep a copy, because it will keep a local copy of everything you sign in your DocuSign. Yes. And so it's good to just have that record. It also emails it to you for the email you use, but it's good to just sign in and have it save a copy for you too.
Definitely. And once it is completed, I get a copy on my actual account through which I send this. So it's going to have the signature here.
Fantastic. Look at that. And so the beautiful part about that is we didn't even have to create a flow for that. That's just DocuSign built in. Once everybody signs, we all get that copy. And so nice. Very, very nice. I love this, Yash.
Since we are getting the envelope ID, we can always track that from DocuSign also, if you wanted to.
Boom. Boom. Oh, I love it. You know, my team is going to be stoked on this. I came into the team and I'm focusing on the citizen developer, the admin, the less technical persona, but I love dipping into this because it's going to really stoke my team to hear that we're talking about the API and showing off the dev center and all that. So Yash, man, thank you again for another epic lesson in how to use Power Automate, but also how to add DocuSign to it. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much, John. It was great learning this, and I actually implemented this for someone, so I'm happy about that also.
Yes, me too. Me too. All right. Well, if you guys have not seen part 1 of Yash doing Power Automate and DocuSign, go ahead and check the description. I'll have a link to that video. Also, be sure to go through the description and check all of Yash's links. At the start of the show, he showed his QR code you can scan to get in touch with him. He gave a couple links, but they'll also be down in the description for you to click, for you to get a hold of him. Do connect with him. Do chat with him. He is oftentimes open to take on projects. And so if you're lucky enough to score some of his time, reach out and ask him if he's available, because I know that those side projects are something he loves to take on. And otherwise, definitely just get connected to him. His blog by the devs, in the community, he's always helping people and solving major problems. So he's just a great dude to know and to be connected in his world and to follow his stuff. So Yash, buddy, thanks again for being here, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You guys at home, go ahead and smash that like button, click subscribe so that you don't miss another video. Much love from me. I'll see you in the next one.